Hello everyone, my name is Susan Sutherland. I am the minister at Maastricht Parish Church in Aberdeen. Welcome, and thank you for joining me in my home today. One of the tragedies of the church that it has acquired is its reputation for being smug, self-righteous, holier than thou. How this has happened, I do not know. For while some in the church are more than ready to sit in judgment, by far, the majority are too aware of their own faults to point the accusing finger at others. The heart of the Christian message is one of forgiveness rather than judgment, about a God who is ready to accept us just as we are, rather than as we should be. Of course, this involves a desire to change, but it begins and ends with God rather than ourselves. And the truth of this is most clearly demonstrated through Jesus Christ, but it was discovered centuries before by countless others. And so it was that a young man worshipping at the temple in Jerusalem suddenly found himself faced by the call of God, hopelessly inadequate though he felt, and burdened by the sense of unworthiness. Isaiah is offered a fresh start. And perhaps that is what we need to hear early in this new year. So today I want us to look at Isaiah chapter 6, this passage, which begins in the year that King Uzziah died. How easy it is to miss the excitement of those words. This is not simply a dating of Isaiah's vision of God. It's a story of a shocking disillusionment and an amazing experience of emerging from darkness into light. For King Isaiah was everyone's hero. His reign was second to Solomon's in splendour and in blessing, but he died a leper. And the shock waves swept through the land, for leprosy was seen as God's judgment of sin. The young Isaiah was disillusioned, and he went into the temple for comfort. You know, the inclination to go to church when some crisis shakes the very foundations of our lives is as old as religion itself. But we are not able at this moment to go into our churches as they're closed. Instead, online messages are bringing comfort and solace, offering us a way forward. In the year that King Uzziah died, he says, Isaiah saw the Lord, and his train filled the temple. We get a sense of God's greatness, his mystery and his power. The hour of despair became the hour of blessing. Isaiah discovered a mighty truth. There is only one hero, and that is God. Uzziah seemed to be a wonderful hero. Crowned king at the age of 16, he reigned for 52 years, bringing strength and glory to Judah. He was a religious man. He won victory over hostile neighbours. He fortified Jerusalem with towers. He had large herds, vineyards, fertile farms. His army was the pride of the nation, and his fame spread far. And then a catastrophe came. Uzziah tried to take over the high priest's duties. His pride destroyed his reverence, his humility in the presence of God. A glorious reign came to a ghastly end, and he died a leper. With Isaiah's hero worship now shattered, he entered the temple. And there in the temple he sees the real king, not Uzziah, the king who died. He has a vision of the God whose strength and character never fail. A reminder to us that God's character and strength never fail, even in pandemics. And in this vision, in this God moment, above Isaiah were seraphs, a type of angel guarding access to the throne. Their vocation is to sing God's praises and announce him, which they do in such a way that it shakes the foundations of the temple itself. Isaiah is filled with a consciousness of his sin, and he knows he deserves to die. But then the unexpected happens one of the seraphs brings a live coal from the altar and touches Isaiah's lips, his unclean lips. Isaiah's guilt is removed, his sin is forgiven, and his lips will from that point, from that moment, be filled with messages from the Lord. Isaiah heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" And Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me." All Isaiah needed to do was respond, and with that began one of the most remarkable prophetic ministries of all time. And I want to assure you that if you are supposed to do something, God will make you able to do it. You do not have to feel able, and you do not have to have experience. All you need is a right motive and a heart full of faith. God is not looking for ability. He is looking for availability. He's looking for somebody to say, "Here I am, God, send me. Here I am, use me. I want to serve you, God. I want to do something for you." Last week I talked about home. Why did I leave my home in Aberdeen and move to my first charge in Barnhill St Margaret's in January 2009? It was for one reason. God called me. I had a good ministry there, and I quite comfortably could have stayed. But I heard the call of God, a new commission, and that's why I came to Maastricht Church in 2017. You know, the moment I walked into the sanctuary, I said to Bill, "We have to come here." And we did. But that doesn't mean I sit back. You see, I still hear God saying, "Who will go?" And I still say, "Send me." And oh, it isn't always easy. There are struggles along the way, but hearing God's voice and answering his call, it is still the most exciting thing that can happen to anyone. To be called by God to do something, it is a great privilege. And God is still asking, "Whom shall I send?" Whom shall I send to speak to the couple in that struggling marriage? Whom shall I send to encourage the single mum schooling her children at home? Whom shall I send to hold the hand of the dying? Whom shall I send to befriend the lonely? Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me." And all that we need to do is to respond in turn, to discover the new beginning God longs to bring us. I believe Isaiah's vision presents a new and startling view of religion as a life-transforming spiritual adventure. Its power of inspiration gives us a challenge and a hope, which is much needed at this moment during this current lockdown. And it confronts us with a dramatic testimony of the power of God to transform the bitter into the better. With God, we can never fail. Without him, we will never succeed. Following God is often, I think, like walking in fog. We can only see one or two steps in front of us. But as we take those steps, the next ones become clear. With God, we don't always see clearly ahead into the distant future. But if we are willing to trust him, we will have an exciting journey that will make life adventurous and worth living. So, will you pray with me? Father, I thank you for everyone watching this message today. I thank you that you have a great new future for us. You said, "I know the plans I have for you, plans for good, not to harm you, but to prosper you." So I pray today that you would give us your vision for our lives. I realize I need you, Jesus. Forgive all my sins and help me to follow you. I want to trust you. I want to love you, and I want to see your vision and your purpose and your plan. And I want to expect great things from you and attempt great things for you in this new year. And all this I ask in your powerful name. Amen. Thank you for watching. Please pass this message on someone else might need to hear this word to encourage them on their journey of faith. God bless you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.